We live in a volatile world. We're in a place where we don't know whether the Strait of Hormuz will be open or not in a week's time. Frankly, they're not that interesting because pallets are always the bottom of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Returnable equipment is the bottom of the supply chain. If we're not delivering that, we're dead as a business.
Yeah. Has there ever been a failure or a setback throughout your career that actually became a turning point for you?
But I signed on. I remember
Right.
signing on.
Oh, really?
When I was 19, something like that. And that was an eye-opening experience for me. Like my dad, his mental strength is just unbelievable. He just cracks on and gets things done. And so I think I was lucky to have that grounding because lots of successful people don't have that grounding.
That investment's not only helping from a tech perspective then, it's actually helping you to hit new territories.
Yeah, and we can give them that control tower so they can look out over all of that. And instead of having to talk to us once every week about, all right, have we had any problems this week? They've got that control tower view so we can have go-forward discussions rather than looking in the rearview mirror.
Welcome to Let's Be Honest About Logistics podcast. I'm Nicky Jones, the CEO and founder of Voodoo Group, and I'm joined here today by Joe Hebblewhite. Joe is the CEO for a company called EMS. They are Equipment Management Solutions Group. A bit of a mouthful that, Joe. Did I say that right?
That's correct, yeah. You'll have to say it once.
So welcome to the show, Joe. Lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
Shall we start with telling the audience a little bit about your journey?
Yes, sounds good. So, as you said, CEO of EMS. So I've been with EMS for about 6 years. Prior to that, I was with a company called Advanced Supply Chain Group for about 18 months. And then previous to that, I was with a company called LPR. So Le Palais Rouge, so the second largest pallet pooling company in Europe. So kind of directly or indirectly within the logistics space for the mainstay of my career. Yeah. And then prior to that, obviously, we worked together
oh my God,
in recruitment
17
business.
years ago. That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Do we look good on it?
How time flies. Hope so. The camera will tell us.
Yes, it will. Hopefully they'll do some editing. That's scary, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. I remember all that time ago, kind of me and you working in the logistics space together as well. And I recruited for pooling companies, which is obviously where my path's taken me as well. So it's amazing how these things come kind of full circle.
Definitely. So when did this promotion come about then to the CEO?
So quite recently, within the last few weeks, we were a founder-owned business for 25 years, and we've gone through a process over the last 18 months to sell the business.
Okay.
And so the two founders exited on the 18th of March, I believe the date was, and we've been bought by a private equity company called Pelican Capital.
Oh, I saw you'd had some private investment from them.
The guys at Pelican who've been fantastic throughout, they've done everything they said they were going to do, which is a big thing, I think, in that space.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a huge expert, but we were told by our corporate finance advisor that was a big thing.
Yes.
So they've been great, and they operate in what they call the lower mid-market, investing in tech-enabled companies and companies with tech-enabled potential. And they've had some fantastic projects that they've worked on over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, and they're a great team to work with. So I'm really, really excited about the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, as part of the founders exiting, that allowed me to step into the CEO role.
Amazing. So what's that roadmap sort of going to look like then with Pelican Capital coming on board? Because if they're sort of normally investing in tech and AI, that's obviously a big space for us, isn't it? So do you think you'll adopt new technologies now with those on board?
Definitely. So we have, how we've kind of worked historically is we've been a business that's operated mainly on, frankly, kind of spreadsheets and databases.
Quite old school
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the last few years, we've gone through a project to transition to have a product called Pallet Portal, which is a proprietary piece of software, bespoke technology that we've designed in-house that allows us to take away the manual heavy lifting from the guys so they can add more value rather than spending time trying to find all the issues in the spreadsheets and in the database. The system goes and identifies that for them and pulls it out. So what the investment allows us to do is basically turbocharge that and put in place a really clear roadmap over the next couple of years of implementing the technology across our business, which will then be backed up by AI and automation. So a lot of the technologies that we're looking at the moment around kind of issue identification, issue fixing. Technology that is out there at the minute from an AI perspective will actually go and identify those for us and potentially fix them for us, which means that we'll have a product to offer to the market that means that people don't have to go and capex something. They've got an opex there and investing in us in a service where they don't have to do any development with their system. They can just purchase our system, our module, our services from us, and they've already got the capability built within that.
Okay.
So instead of these big organisations going and spending time and money on a system that, frankly, they're not that interesting, because pallets are always the bottom of the supply chain. Equipment, returnable equipment is the bottom of the supply chain. They have something ready-made there from us that costs them an absolute fraction of the cost that it would be to develop their own.
So that's a real value add.
Yeah.
So talking about that then, should we tell the audience a little bit about who EMS are, what you do, who your customers are, the sorts of solutions outside of that you're creating?
Yeah, so EMS is an equipment management solutions business, as it says on the tin. So we help manufacturers accurately capture, report and track returnable equipment. So that's pallets, crates, totes, bins, any kind of returnable equipment, whether that be a pooled asset, so that's with one of the pooling companies, or whether it be an owned asset, which is some people have their own pools of plastic pallets or totes for moving product internally. So the reason that the business was established in the first place was that companies want to make, market, sell. They don't want to spend time tracking pallets, frankly, or those different types of equipment. So what we do is we help extract the correct information from their systems. If we receive the information that isn't correct, we do all the manual workarounds to try and identify what information we need to pull from that data set.
Right.
Because as you can imagine, these businesses have hundreds of lines and hundreds of columns of data, and we actually only need maybe 4 or 5 of those columns. So we go in and we do that and extract that, and then we report it accurately to the pooling companies, and then we track everything off the back of that. So we do invoice reconciliation to ensure that all of the invoices that are being charged are correct and accurate, and a whole host of services over and above that. Kind of when that baseline of control is established, what we then do is we provide lots of consultancy-led services. So everything from helping, supporting them organising and executing the tender process, right the way through to talking about nail lengths in pallets, all different sorts of different conversations. We become a fully outsourced partner, basically. Okay. So we're their go-to guys.
And what sort of customers are sort of working with you in partnership on this?
So we've got mainly FMCG or CPG, as it's known in the US companies. So we work with Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Danone, Nivea, which is Bayersdorf, Kenvue.
Oh, so you big sort of globally renowned brands.
Really renowned brands, right the way down to a small family business as well that we operate with. Right. So our smallest customer uses kind of 5,000 pallets a year, and our biggest customer uses 25 million. So
mental, isn't it?
complete range. We've definitely grown in that kind of higher tier of customer, the strategic partners, over the last few years, but our core customer base remains equally as important to us, and we continue to grow on both levels.
And do you think that is from a sort of technical standpoint and an IT perspective? Because I know we were talking earlier about the sort of supply chain piece and the real importance of the predictability in the supply chain. Do you think that they see that as a real value add as part of the solutions you're creating?
I think so. I think there's a number of areas probably to unpick there and unpack. So the big thing that our customers have with us is trust. Yeah. So we ended kind of back to that point I made about Pelican earlier. They've done everything they said they were going to do. That has been the mantra of our business from day one that the founders put in place. And I'm really passionate about protecting that and making sure we continue to deliver it. Because frankly, if we're not delivering that, we're dead as a business. Yeah. So we deliver what we say we're going to deliver. And it makes my job easy when I'm going out and talking and selling the business as well to potential new customers, because I know that we'll be able to deliver the solution.
You've grown through that brand value, haven't you?
Exactly, yeah.
And that, like you say, is your ethos, and your mission statement is about partnerships.
Yeah, exactly. And the knowledge side of it as well. So we know the industry intricately. We know the pitfalls to look out for, things to be aware of. Also, how we can get the results that we need to get for our customers. We've got the experience of doing that now on a more global level as well, which I know we'll probably come on to. And then, there's definitely then the tech-enabled piece that underpins that now, where we can say to a provider, yes, we can provide that solution and we can provide it much more quickly than we ever have been able to do before, because we've got a solution that we can load all the data into and it will go and find those errors and fix those problems for us.
Well, time is money, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So if they have an efficient tool like that to be able to identify those parts, it's saving them not so much just the manual time to do it, but obviously money, isn't it?
Exactly. And the predictability bit is a key part that you mentioned as well, because we live in a volatile world. We're in a place where we don't know whether Strait of Hormuz will be open or not in a week's time. Fuel costs are high. Fuel costs are fluctuating. Different costs are fluctuating in different places.
Yeah.
And we give people the predictability. They know exactly what they'll pay for because our commercial model gives them predictability in terms of what they pay us. But then on the flip side, they know that they will pay what's been budgeted for pallets and equipment as long as they use what they said they were going to use. They don't use more because they know that they're going to get that cost, which is normally a fixed cost with returnable equipment. And if they use 100, they know they're going to get that fixed cost of, let's just say it's £1 times 100, it's £100.
Yeah.
They know they're going to have that every single time. Whereas at the minute, other businesses out there have got that fluctuation and they spend a lot of time fixing the problems that they've got every year to then revisit them a year later. So it's about giving them people that predictability as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think, are they sort of requesting insights on data intelligence in that supply chain? Is that something they ask for, or is that something you give as a value add?
I think a little bit of both. It's something we're definitely passionate about giving and giving more of. One of the things that the investment allows us to unlock is more value for existing customers within the commercial model that we have with them already. So that's giving people predictive insights, telling them what their supply chain is doing, giving them supply chain behaviour analysis, plugging in forecasting models, plugging in TMS systems to be able to, for all the systems to talk to one another, to be able to give them some really powerful data.
That's the thing. When they are using so many different platforms, they're not necessarily, the tech's not necessarily talking to each other, is it?
No.
So it can make it very difficult to make an informed decision when you've got so much data flying around. So is this all accessible for them on one platform then through EMS?
So the vision is that it will all be accessible on one platform.
Right.
So currently we can provide people with a view of, say, for example, they have a pool pallet account, a pool tray account, they own a load of white pallets, and then which are unbranded pallets for those that aren't initiated, and then there's some other type of equipment. So you've got 4 equipment types. We can give them a view of all those things in one portal instead of them having to visit 4 different places to go and get that information from.
Nice.
And then the view for the future, and we're having conversations now, is things like if we want to bring a transport provider in, we can link that system in. If we want to bring a finance system in, we can link that system in. So the systems will talk to one another, to your point, because they don't at the moment, talk to one another to take away someone from having to do that manual work of exporting the data and looking at it, then reconciling it with the finance system. Whereas actually, our system will act as almost a clearinghouse for the finance system and say, yes, you can go and pay this invoice. It makes sense because we've done the analysis and there's only three erroneous transactions that we're challenging at the minute. So it's that kind of view that we want to be able to take.
And are they getting sort of full end-to-end visibility as well then from a supply chain perspective with what you offer?
Yeah.
Right.
So literally from the issue of the equipment to when it comes on to the account to when it goes off of the account, and probably beyond that as well in terms of the analysis piece. So spend analysis, what's the forward view of spend? If you tell us what your forecast is, we can tell you what the view is in a few months' time.
So that's a powerful tool.
Yeah, market intelligence as well. So if the Strait of Hormuz is no, we can give them that kind of what does the fuel price look like in 12 months and how do we think that'll impact your unit cost of your equipment. It's all of that level of detail that we're trying to provide to people.
Very interesting. And obviously with this sort of strategic investment from Pelican Capital, that's only going to sort of enrich what you've already got and what you're already offering to the customers. So is that investment helping you sort of scale into new markets? Are you going into new territories, creating any new solutions?
Yeah, so we launched in the US in 2022. It's quickly becoming the most significant area of growth for the business. The size of the opportunity there is a significant, and that the investment allows us to continue that growth there and again turbocharge it to use my expression from earlier. So we can accelerate that by putting boots on the ground. So currently we don't have boots on the ground there, and we're just about to recruit 2 relationship-based people there, but there will be salespeople based there. California, I can see you on a beach.
I'll come to the US with you, no problem. So that's good. So that investment's not only helping from a tech perspective then, it's actually helping you to hit new territories and have a foothold in new countries.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, so when you think about this, the US market is 5 times as big as the European market probably. And we've got 15 customers there at the minute.
Wow.
So we've taken on the pretty big customers, admittedly, the majority of them. So we're taking on some quite big volumes there. But if you think about the market we're not covering there's a significant amount, and there's Canada and there's Latin America. So we are in Canada and we will continue to grow there, but we are entering Latin America as well.
Very nice.
So Latin America as a marketplace will be open shortly for us. So we're going to go into Mexico and then kind of expand out from there.
And what's the roadmap look like with that? Is this over the next sort of 12, 18, 24 months? Is it more of a 5-year plan?
I think initially, because of the size of the opportunity with the marketplace being an established market for us to go into, I'd say that Mexico, the US and Canada is a 24-month plan.
Yes.
And then the Latin American countries are probably a little bit longer than that, 36, 48 months, because it's a less developed market, generally speaking, for pooling. But those markets are mature. And it's the same with Europe. So whilst North America and Central America and Latin America will be the focus, the European market is a core market for us. And there's lots of countries that we're in currently that we can expand within, and that we don't have to land and expand, we can just expand. But there's also some of the sort of the CEE countries, which we want to try and work to get some foothold into, which I think we can do pretty quickly as well, because the concepts of pooling there are the same in other European countries, apart from the individual cultures that are
it's an exciting time.
So, yeah, it's very exciting.
And you're at the helm, my friend.
Yes.
No pressure. What size is the team that you've got around you?
So we've got 44.
Are they UK based?
All UK based, yeah. So we'll have, when those 2 new starters begin in the US, so that'll be 46. So we'll probably be 50 people by the midpoint of the year.
Okay.
Probably expanding to 60 early next year. We've got an office in...
a flat structure. You're keeping things sort of tight, aren't you?
Yeah. I think in terms of the services we provide, it depends on the level of account that we start to work with as to the resource that we need. So the larger accounts obviously need a dedicated person or team working on that account, whereas the smaller accounts, we can have one person looking after between 5 and 8 accounts, something like that.
And as you said earlier, a lot of it's driven by the tech, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So that helps.
Yeah. So the more influential the technology becomes, which it will be, the less people we'll have to bring on, because the technology will be doing more of the heavy lifting. But for the existing guys that are there now, it's just going to make their lives so much more straightforward, because they can, like I said, add value and provide insight to the customer rather than going out trying to have to identify a problem.
And what does the team look like? Is the team individuals that have sort of organically grown throughout the years with the business? Have you had to attract new talent as the business has evolved?
So a bit of a mix. Good question. So we're actually bringing in a CFO and a CCO.
Okay.
So they'll be joining the end of June and the start of July, respectively.
Yeah.
So the CFO is not from the industry, but brings a heck of a lot of experience. The CCO is from the industry, and brings a lot of experience in the industry, which is great, and they'll be a fantastic asset. The two other most senior people in the business have grown with the business. I'll get there eventually. Have grown with the business. And particularly one of those individuals, they started as an account exec and have now grown to be a global head of customer partnerships.
So you've got a wealth of knowledge in there for a small team.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's sort of on point in terms of their experiences.
There's an awful lot of experience in there, and some fantastic knowledge. I think we generally say internally, if you don't know the answer, someone else will know the answer. Go and ask the question. Because if it's a technical question about something in the industry, someone else will have the information, have the answer for you. And what we need to do is make sure that we're building a system that has that information in it, so that it's not in everyone's heads as well. That's the key thing. It's so that our customers and our team can access information more easily.
Because people are guilty of that, aren't they? If it's their client, they don't really want to share. So I think, do you think you're sort of breeding more of a collaborative culture then within the company now?
Yeah. I mean, kind of from me down as well, because I've been really conscious that if I know something that I know other people don't know, I've been trying to get it on paper or in the plan to get into a system. Because there's things that are in my head that shouldn't just be in my head, because it's a single point of failure. We need to make sure that we're delivering that through technology, so that the information's available for the next person when they come in. So but it's definitely a collaborative culture. One of the things that I'm, again, fiercely passionate about protecting is the culture, because everybody cares about what they do.
Nice.
Everyone wants to deliver value. Everyone really cares about the service that we provide. And I've been parts of growing businesses before, and I've seen that slips away, that customer focus and that customer making it the primary point of call. every single day has slipped away from people, and I will defend that till my last breath, basically, because it is we all get paid, right? We get paid by our customers. Ultimately.
They don't feel like they're doing a job.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really sort of invested in the partnerships and the relationships, and that's special, especially in logistics.
Yeah, I agree. I've been to see some businesses where they have kind of like something in a corner that reminds them of a customer, and it blows my mind.
I love
just
that.
sit there and I'm like, what? Like, why do you need something there to remind you of a customer? Like, that's what your job is every single day. It's just a strange.
But it is quite. Maybe it was a gift. It's quite cool if it's But I get what you're saying. It is if you've got a sort of portfolio of customers that you're looking after. Your priority is that portfolio of customers. So you should be having a touch point with them pretty regularly. So talking of sort of collaborating. Obviously, I've worked in this industry so much years as you, so we won't go down that road, showing our age. Do you find, because obviously when we've been recruiting in this space over the years between us, there were quite a lot of barriers to entry from a collaboration, a partnership perspective. I've noticed over the past probably 2 or 3 years that businesses are collaborating more because they want the right solution for the customer. Do you find that in the sort of pooling space?
Yeah, I think I remember kind of something that typifies this, I guess. I remember when I worked for LPR, we worked with 2 major cereal manufacturers, and we put a suggestion forward that they share trailers for what was at the time empty running. Right. And we said to them, look, we can fill your trailers here, but it'll involve you going onto their yard and them coming onto your yard. And they would not have the vehicles coming onto their yards because they're branded, obviously.
Right.
That was probably 10, 11 years ago, something like that.
Right, okay.
And I remember at the time thinking, this is... And I appreciate the competitive nature, but I thought, this is strange because you're trying to reduce logistics costs. You're trying to bring synergies to the table. You're trying to increase or decrease your carbon footprint, increase your sustainability initiatives. Whereas now, I think that would be a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen it in logistics, in wider logistics, that barriers are down, walls are down.
Good.
And people are interested in collaborating more. I think in the pooling sector specifically, it's a very small marketplace with very few businesses operating it, so it is quite competitive still.
Yes.
I know there are conversations that happen between the poolers about collect. So, for example, CHEP, LPR and IPP, their pallets will end up at each other's depots just naturally through a collection process, and they collaborate to make sure they can collect the owned asset back, which makes total sense. But I'm not sure how much collaboration there is beyond that. But I definitely think that sort of logistics as a wider industry, that exists. And I mean, for us, it's the same. Like, our barriers are down. We want to collaborate with people. Yeah. Because ultimately, collaboration, if it's done properly, should create mutual value for our customer. And again, to that point we just talked about, we're all here to ensure the customer gets a service and improve the service that the customer gets too.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What do you love about your job?
I love that every day is different.
Yeah.
I think that, I get to have different conversations with different people about different things all the time, which is great. I enjoy travelling.
Yes.
That's one thing that I do enjoy.
You just come back from the US.
Just come back from the US, yeah. I'm very tired. I was feeding a 10-week-old last night as well, so hopefully the lights haven't got the bags on the head. Just come back from the US, so enjoy travelling. One of the things that I enjoy the most is seeing, I've talked just a little bit earlier about seeing a colleague go from account exec right the way through to head of partnerships.
To seeing their career development.
That is one of the most satisfying parts of my job, to give people opportunities. And it's proof, because it's not just that person. There's plenty of others in our business that have progressed. It's proof that it can be done, and I really enjoy it because frankly, it also changes their lives as well, because their earnings increase as they get more senior in the roles.
But they're all on the journey, aren't they? And I think because they're putting that effort in and they're showing the willingness and they really care about what you're doing, they've got a vested interest, haven't they? Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, that's probably the biggest part, the biggest kick I get out of it anyway.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and obviously the flexibility in terms of, I actually I was going to say working from home then and travelling, etc. But I do actually go into the office as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I like if I didn't have any travel for the week, I'd probably go into the office 4 days a week.
Okay.
And work from home for one, because I like being with the
Like
team.
being
Although
around
I'm fortunate to have my own space in the office, I do like going out and seeing people and chatting to people. How's your week been? How's your day been? All that kind of thing. So I guess the flexibility side of it as well is important for me.
And what are your thoughts on sort of hybrid, remote-based, office-based working then as a CEO? Do you have a sort of 3 in, 2 out policy?
That's exactly what we have.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. It's like we planned that, but we didn't. We have 3 in 2. So it used to be under the founders originally when I joined, and I joined at the start of COVID. It was 5 days in the office.
Right.
So we went to a 3 in 2 model, which I think is a nice balance. And then we give colleagues, we want to give as a business as much flexibility as we can to colleagues.
Yes.
So if there's certain commitments in the week that mean that as long as you notify us in advance that they need to be at home for, they can go and do 2 and 3 or 4 and 1 or whatever kind of suits.
Okay.
But typically 3 and 2, because you get the interaction with each other, which is really important as a team. A lot of what we do is knowledge-based, so having that conversation is really important.
Even just like previous guests have said, at the copy machine, at the photocopier, at the printer, whatever, those conversations are really valuable. And I think it can be lonely for people working from home, especially if they're in a sales role. Because you know what sales is like. You can go from sort of hero to zero pretty quickly. Yeah. But if they've got no one to talk to, it's a little bit soul destroying.
It can be lonely.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I think we've got a couple of people that are based at home, based remotely full time, and we like to get them to the office as often as we can do.
Nice.
And really as often as they want to, I guess, as well. Now, some people do enjoy being fully remote, and we respect that as well. But I think having that touch point internally, you're right, like you say, the coffee machine, the dishwasher, whatever it is that they kind of meet in that, it's a really important touch point, because you might speak to someone who, and I do it quite often, I'll go and put something in the dishwasher and someone will be making something in the microwave and I might not have spoken to them all week. And I just have a conversation, how's your week gone? What are you doing this weekend? And conversation that I wouldn't have if I was...
Well, from knowing you for so many years, I imagine you've got quite a sort of open door policy, so you're quite visible in the business. Yeah. People feel that they can come to you and talk to you. And do they sort of share ideas? Do you sort of sit round and discuss, what does the next phase of this business look like? Or is that all done really primarily at board level? Have people got a voice?
People have definitely got a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because some of the best ideas come from people that are working on these things day in, day out. Absolutely, yeah. It is an open door policy from that perspective. And it's harder as we grow because there's more people. And a lot of the people that I worked with in a very small office, kind of a lot smaller than this room, before, we had a much more intimate relationship than I do now with people that join, because it's just natural what it is.
Well, it's the involvement and the advancement.
So I'd say probably the guys that have joined more recently probably less likely to come and ask me or speak to me about an idea.
Right.
But the guys that have been there longer, absolutely, they come and talk to me. And
that's nice.
The drive of the growth and the strategy is definitely at board level now.
Yes.
But any ideas get fed into that. Obviously, there's when you're running a business, there's a whole host of things that happen. It could be anything from we need new cutlery, which is always my classic example. Like, can we get some new cutlery, please? Which I've got great people to handle now, thankfully. Right the way through to what do we think about this piece of functionality within the system? And those discussions are really important. And I encourage everyone to come up with ideas and bring ideas and ask questions as well.
Yes.
Like, ask questions. As long as everything's done in the right way, then it's a policy where people can come and just be as open as they want to be, because that's how we're all going to get value out of this.
Yeah, and you're all learning, aren't you? And sort of teaching each other, really, which is good. Has there ever been a failure or a setback throughout your career that actually became a turning point for you?
So I think the first setback I had in my career was before I started working with you, Nicky, actually. So I worked part-time while I was at university for a company based from where I grew up in North Lincolnshire.
Right.
So the business is based in Halifax, and I live in Halifax now. And I was born in Halifax. My parents are from North Lincolnshire, so I kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked for this business, and just completely out of the blue, I was made redundant. Very, very bizarre circumstances, but anyway. And I had to go find something to do. So I actually went and worked in a Chinese restaurant that I worked in when I was a kid for 3 weeks. I had a good friend there. I had a bit of knowledge about website design, things like that from the job that I'd done. So just kind of being resourceful, basically, trying to find work whilst I was trying to find work. And I distinctly remember, so the area I grew up in was just north of a little town called Brigg.
Right.
So it was near Scunthorpe, between Scunthorpe and Grimsby. And I went to Scunthorpe, I don't know the name of what the actual place is called, but I signed on. I remember signing on.
Oh, really?
When I was 19, something like that. And that was an eye-opening experience for me, really eye-opening experience to see, like, obviously there's people in life that have huge struggles, etc. But this is what could happen to you. Seeing some of the examples around you, like this is what could happen to you if you don't get your head down and work at it. And I think I've been brought up in a good environment, so I was fortunate from that regard, because people don't always have that opportunity in life.
Do you think that put that fire in your belly then to sort of get moving?
So it's like, I need to make sure that I don't slip into a trap here, basically. And obviously I was working and I wanted to work anyway, which is good. So that was the first big setback, doing that. Then I went to have an interview at BlackRock where we worked, and which became White Rock. And then it kind of went from there, really. And then I guess the other setback or challenge to mention really is the last 18 months through this process, selling the business. It's been an incredibly challenging process at times.
Eye-opening as well, dealing with private
massively
equity.
Eye-opening. It's probably been the most challenging thing I've done, because I've been running a business, growing a business, selling a business. I've also had some personal things. My wife was pregnant, etc. at the time. So there's been a lot of things.
Stop with all these kids. You're a CEO now. You've got too much to do.
So there's all of that kind of putting together. And unfortunately,
it's a lot, isn't it? With the travel as well, because you're sort of not always UK based.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think the important thing that came out of that was structuring the team into where we have it today, and obviously where it's going to go. But fortunate to have a great team around me, because I wouldn't have been able to do that without putting that team in place and structuring that team. And as much as I've kind of driven the structure of it and how we want it to look, etc., the guys have ultimately delivered, because I can't do that job for them. They've done a brilliant job of that. So I could say they're probably kind of the two main challenges that I've faced.
And was there any inspiration that you took as you were sort of progressing on this career development plan that you obviously had from back in the day? You obviously knew you wanted to get to a sort of senior position. Was there anyone in particular you did take inspiration from on that journey?
I think there's probably 3 or 4 people to mention, actually. So obviously I just explained kind of how I came into work when we worked together in the business, and I think it was probably quite a formative time of my life, having gone through that process, and I'd moved so I went to university in Leeds, moved back to my parents for a little while, but then moved back to Leeds to work in the role. So I was kind of like, this is real life now. I had my flat, I had to make sure that I was paving my way, etc. And at that time I met Alan Rigglesworth, who we both know, Riggy, who there'll be people listening to this podcast who know us both, who'll be waxing lyrical about Riggy. He's absolutely unbelievable guy.
Well, he does all the training for my staff.
Oh, does he? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's meant to be retired, but he'll never retire. He'll never retire.
And he's just, he's a legend. He really set the standards that I operate with, probably similar to yourself as well. Everything from the way we used to have to write things in, and it sounds quite archaic actually.
Yeah,
in some
it does
ways,
now, but it was
how
just
you have
how
to
we were
write things
taught,
on.
wasn't it?
But it set the standard, and a big thing for me in our company is standards. Everything we do is about standards, and it must be at the right standard.
Yes.
And he is all about that, and he is very funny, but in the way that he teaches you how to do things. Got some great sayings that we definitely can't say on here.
Yeah, we definitely.
But he's just a great guy who really helped me form kind of.
Oh, he'll love he's had a mention on our podcast.
That kind of that formative time in my life, and then moving to LPR, there's a lady called Jane Gorick who was the MD of LPR at that time. Okay. Probably the best business developer I've ever met.
Wow.
Just brilliant. Some things that I learned from her. And I should say, I kind of learned things from everyone along the way.
Yes.
And everyone, whether they be my boss or someone that I worked with, etc.
There's always something someone teaches you, isn't there?
Yeah. And she was brilliant, because she used to say a little often. So her big thing was a little often. So go and have a cup of tea with someone for half an hour. Go and influence someone at the ground level, right the way through a decision maker.
Yes.
Just doesn't matter if you don't talk about what you're selling. Just go ask them how the football was last night or how the kids are.
Right. So just building on that relationship.
And she used to. I remember the first Christmas party I went to. We probably had maybe 20, 25 staff at that time, and she memorised everyone's partners' names. Right. So she used to go up to the partners and say, "Hello, how are you doing?" and know the first names. Just small things like that.
Little things make an impact, don't they?
And then, Advanced Supply Chain Group, there's a few people in there that really stood out for me. And then moving into EMS, the two founders of the business have been brilliant for me since day one, done everything they said they were going to do. Learned a lot from them about running a small business that's now matured into a formal SME, I guess. So they're the kind of the people that have influenced me the most, as well as family as well. I mean, it's definitely worth mentioning that, like, my dad was from not the poorest background in the world, but not the best background in the world either. And he had some things that happened to him in his life early on that could have, again, put him in a place where he probably didn't have the greatest start, I would say. It's probably fair to say, but his mental strength is just unbelievable. And he just cracks on and gets things done. He made a great life with my mum. And so I think I was lucky to have that background and that grounding, because lots of successful people don't have that grounding and still going to do amazingly well. But I think that grounding was really important for me, and they're a sounding board for anything that I want.
Well, it does shape you, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It definitely does.
Definitely. Yeah. And what... Well, this is a funny one, actually. If someone was to shadow you for a week, what do you think would surprise them the most?
I'm
going to say how much coffee you drink, aren't you?
Or beer.
Or beer.
I think people, whether it be colleagues or non-colleagues, that are maybe not the same level of seniority within the business, will be surprised how hard I work. And that's probably quite a self-fulfilling thing to say. But I don't think sometimes people appreciate how hard you have to work to get to where people get to at these kind of senior positions.
Well, sometimes you have to work harder in a smaller to medium-sized business than you do within a multinational, don't you? Because you don't have those dedicated teams and that big support system around you. Yes, you've got a team of sort of 46, 47, but you don't have different departments for everything, do you? So you've got to be overseeing things.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's one thing someone will probably say. The other thing that I think people would say is, wow, it's different every day, isn't it? Because it really is really, really is, from one extreme to the other every single day. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. And probably the thing around the travel, like in a normal, like for example, so I came back from the US Sunday morning, had yesterday off, and then here today, Leeds tomorrow, Thursday in Leicester. So I'm not actually back in the office until Friday, then back in the office on Friday. Just... the amount of travel is quite a lot, and keeping up with that kind of workload. And I've got a great EA that supports me. She does a fantastic job. But yeah, it's I guess the travel is the most significant part outside of that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And just going back to EMS, obviously, you've been around this world for quite a while now. Are you seeing any trends within pooling that you think will catch on and that will stick?
Some legislation in Europe that's kicking around called the PPWR, which is around accurately reporting to the European Commission about packaging origin source.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Which I think it's a beast that reared its head and has kind of gone back in its cave a little bit. But I think it's going to come back out into the fore. Companies do currently, and probably will have a big problem in reporting exactly what they want, what the European Commission wants them to report.
Oh, really?
So that could be, but that's probably an opportunity for us as well to help. But that's definitely something that's going to, I think,
so is that something that keeps sort of rearing its head and then going away and then
it has done
back?
Because basically the expectations were set by the Commission without proper industry consultation.
Right.
And then the industry said, well, hang on, have you thought about this? Is it really practical to be able to implement this? And there's kind of those two in front. Some great industry associations out there doing some lobbying around it, of which we're members of, actually. So I think that's a big trend. And that links to sustainability. So it's a very sustainable sector anyway, generally speaking, because the majority of it's wood. Obviously, there's some plastic out there, but the majority of it's wood.
You're doing my job for me. I was just moving on to sustainability and operational efficiency then, and because that sort of goes hand in hand with that predictability, doesn't it, in that supply chain piece?
Yeah. Predictability is a huge part. That is definitely one of the trends. Sustainability is key, with the scope emission requirements as well about reporting. So the manufacturers have to report their scope 1, 2 and 3 emissions. So pooling and suppliers need to make sure they've got the data together to be able to accurately report that. So that's definitely going to be a trend. And I think the collaboration piece is something that I would say has become a trend, but people need to utilise it. People need to get onto that journey. And particularly now with AI, I know everyone likes to talk about AI, so I will mention it briefly, but we're kind of in a world now where people weren't sure about it last year. So this time last year, they weren't sure about it. There were models out there, but the models probably weren't mature enough for someone who didn't really understand AI to understand. People who were in that world and people have a tech head on the shoulders did understand it.
Or even coming from optimization, it's a sort of
and
add
I think
on to
now
that.
there are models out there that people can understand and implement quickly. So it's becoming more about infrastructure adoption and implementation rather than trying to understand how will it fit. It's where will it fit, basically. And then working something to make sure it does fit. So I definitely think that trend, we'll see at some point next year more systems talking to each other, more adoption of that kind of technology, which gives people more certainty.
Yeah, definitely. And around the sort of operational efficiency then and sustainability, because I know they're sort of quite core sort of values for you at EMS. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing around that?
Well, the big thing for us is because we're very kind of asset light, essentially, as a business, because we're a services-led business, we're supporting our customers with it. So we are going through a phase of the business now where we're going to be able to help our customers accurately report what their impacts are from a carbon perspective with poolers, with suppliers, and be able to bring some transport data into there as well to give them a whole life cycle piece. And really what we're doing is looking at the circular economy. Trying to deliver that circular economy for them and being able to report on that. Because there's lots of data out there. It's a typical thing, I guess. There's lots of data out there, but not many people fully understand the data because it's
being able to
utilise
the data. Because like you say, it's okay having Excel spreadsheets, but what does it mean?
It's making sense.
Exactly.
Simplifying it for people and making sense of it. And one of our strengths is to simplify and then present it in a way that's understandable for people.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So,
Okay. Is there anything else? I feel like we've rattled through this. It's like we just sat chit-chatting. We've obviously touched on quite a bit around who EMS are, the strategic investment that you've had from Pelican, the roadmap over the next sort of 12, 18, 24 months, a little bit more around the tech and AI and sort of predictability in that supply chain piece that you think is what those customers want. They want the insight on that sort of data intelligence to make those informed decisions moving forward. Is there anything else you'd like the audience to know about EMS as a business?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there with telling the story, which is great. Hopefully that means I've explained it properly, which is good.
Yeah.
I think for us, we're about... And typically, the feedback we get from our customers is pretty good. So our Net Promoter scores, CSAT scores, etc. Our annual surveys are really, really good. Obviously, there's always areas to work on, as every business has, and we're really passionate about doing that. But the story for us going forward is effectively to make sure we're delivering the high quality services to our existing partners that we have in place now and expanding that with them. And when I say expanding, that means in terms of giving them something for what they're paying for already. So giving them more for what they're paying for already.
But so there's value added solutions,
but also giving them something else as well, some other options. So going and talk to them about if we look after pallets for them, have we talked to you about trays? Like there's a value in that because we become that central point of contact. And the big thing for us is we want to become a control tower of all that data.
Okay.
So we want to give people that control tower view that allows them to have that certainty in cost. They have the certainty in results.
Yeah.
And then we can look at, what's the future of the category for you? How can we strategically support you? And we can give them that control tower so they can look out over all of that. And instead of having to talk to us once every week about, all right, have we had any problems this week? They've got that control tower view so we can have go-forward discussions rather than looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
We can always talk about, what's next for this, what's next for that. And also they can then use the portal and the reporting tools in there to extract everything they want. I was with a big US customer last week. And she said, one of the main contacts there said, I want to be able to take pretty graphs out and put them onto
like me. Put
them onto a PowerPoint.
It's the things I said to my team.
Is it? But I get a point.
But you got the point.
Yeah, it's important, and and my team will tell you I'm so anal about what goes on a PowerPoint.
I know.
And how we present things, and having that quality of information to be able to take off of that and put into something straight away like a snapshot, or just being able to say, here's the reports I want, give me these reports, and press a button and it produces the report for you. That's the kind of level of intelligence that we want to give to the system to then give to our customers so that they can then use that for their own internal purposes.
So this is that next generation of EMS then, isn't
exactly,
it? In terms of that involvement.
Yeah, so it's an exciting time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have come to the end of our podcast, Joe. I'm looking at you now because we do have a quick fire round.
Okay, I'll have a drink.
It's not for me. The audience like to know a little bit more about our guests. So are you happy for me to just reel these off? You've not had any prior warning, so you might look a bit shocked.
Yeah,
I'm joking. I'm sure it'll be good. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Most used emoji?
Either the one where the guy's got his hand on his head like that, or the sideways crying laughing face, I think. Probably they're the two.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs, definitely.
Favourite holiday destination?
Kefalonia is the one we go to most regularly, but the
Nice.
best place me and my wife been is Cuba. It's absolutely
Was that before the kids?
phenomenal. It was before the kids, yeah. The year before. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Havana, if anyone's not been, it's absolutely, it's
I've never
everything
been.
everything that you think it's going to be. It is. It's absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
brilliant.
I might look at that. One food you could eat every day?
Sticky toffee pudding. It's my kryptonite, probably. Or baklava. That's probably one of the two. Or baklava, as some people call it. Probably pasta as a staple. Any type of pasta, basically.
pasta,
Yeah, any type of pasta.
Is there a guilty pleasure you're willing to admit on air?
Probably just said that. Sticky toffee pudding.
What, you sticky toffee pudding?
Guilty pleasure. Oh, I don't know. When I'm by myself, I'm a bit of a singer, I guess.
Really?
I'll just sing and just mess around. Kind of it just takes my brain away and think, I don't know, guilty pleasure.
It's like an escapism.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We'll go with singing.
Singing,
We'll go with
yeah.
the singing on your own. Is there a question you wished people would ask you more often?
I don't necessarily know if it's a question, but I wish that, I might be flipping it around a little bit, but I wish that I could help people and give people advice more often.
Right.
That's not just people in the business. That's everyone. So I know at the school I went to, there's like a mentoring thing that I signed up for and did for a little bit. But yeah, that kind of thing, being able to help people on a journey that they want to give to. Yeah, so I guess it's not, because I do get asked a lot of questions.
Yes.
As you'd expect, probably. I don't know if there's one that I'd maybe ask more. I'm not sure.
No. Understood.
Yeah. Or maybe 1 pint or two.
What advice would you give your younger self?
I would probably say to enjoy myself a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So you knew me when I was 2021.
Yeah.
I was, whilst my friends were going out every weekend, I was going out like every other weekend. And I
One weekend a month, I think, from memory.
Yeah. And I think I was just, because I was quite career focused.
You were very driven.
Driven. I mean, I had a lot of fun still. I had great fun. But
I think the dynamic
it's been
changed because you had your own apartment. You'd moved from your hometown.
Yeah.
You know, they were still, a few of them living with parents. They didn't really have the responsibilities that you had to look after yourself from a bills perspective, a rent, or the other things. The dynamics do change, don't they?
They do. I think
you do wish you'd had a bit more fun,
I wish I had a bit more fun. Probably those first few years, yeah.
I hear you. What makes you smile?
Sam Fender, definitely Sam Fender. Sam Fender's, a bit of a fan. Family, definitely, yeah. Family, yeah.
Well, you couldn't really do a lot of what you've done without your wife, could you?
No,
if you think about it.
She's incredible. Like this week is, she's been by herself with the two kids, and I think there's been times where she's wanted to kind of pull her hair out, and I wouldn't be able to do my job without her. So that support network.
Well, it's a team
fundamental.
effort, isn't it?
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I guess sport makes you smile. Like the big thing with me with smile is small things that make me smile. Like I see my wife.
You like life in general, don't you?
Yeah, just like my wife playing with the little one. I'll walk in the room, they'll be playing, and it'll just make me smile. Or I'll get a text from my dad saying something silly, and just that kind of thing. It's small things really for me.
Like
just
life.
Just life in general. Yeah.
And is there a film, a book, a podcast that's really inspired you?
I get inspired by lots of different things. I read a lot of sports biographies.
Right.
Autobiographies. Oh, and biographies as well. Quite into my cycling, so I've read a lot of those. Like, that's quite inspiring. Some of the things they do is just unbelievable, what they put their bodies through.
I know.
Business, I listen to a lot of business podcasts, use Spotify a lot to listen to different podcasts about different subjects, might be topical subjects. So I've recently listened to one about AI in business, for example.
Oh, nice. You like to keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning. That's key for me. So I'd say there's not anything specifically, but it might be something like I'll watch Succession. Succession, the TV show.
Yes,
and that inspires me. I'll watch Race Across the World, and that'll think, I really want to go and do that. It's that kind of thing that inspires me, rather than anything one thing in particular. I would say. Yeah.
No, I understand. Yeah. Well, I think we've come to the end of our podcast, Joe. Have you enjoyed it?
I've really enjoyed it.
Do you not think it's gone quick?
It's gone very quick. It's probably about, I don't know how long it is.
I don't know. I don't look at my watch. Is there anything else you would sort of like to wrap up with?
Oh, thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. No,
I would never
it's great to
forget
see how
you
well
for
you're
this.
doing
Thank
as well. That's
you.
really important to say. I really enjoyed working together, and you were always great. So I just want that on record. Make sure that's
thank
on
you.
record.
You got that on record now for all the others that are going to come at me.
But no, I think we're just excited as a business for the next phase.
Nice.
We've got a great partner. We've got a great team in place, and we're just excited to take the next step and really excited to work with our customer. It sounds corny and cheesy probably to say sometimes, but the customer for us is at the centre of what we do.
Yeah.
So being able to deliver more value for them within our existing frameworks is great. And then just the growth potential with all
it's
the
huge,
businesses
isn't it?
is
If you
just
think
enormous.
of what you've still got left to penetrate in different countries, just from building on the footprint that you've already got.
Exactly.
It's exciting.
It is, yeah. And just the technology is really exciting to us. We've got some fantastic things planned for our technology over the next 18 months or so, which I'm really excited to talk about as they come out. But all of that intelligent supply chain piece is we're going to be at the centre of that, basically, which is great.
Well, don't forget me.
I won't.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Joe.
you,
It's
Nicky.
been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.